Hello and welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us online and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Snapchat, Insta Stories, LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. Okay, so Halloween is just days away, right? And for many, the most exciting part is making sure that their costume looks perfect and making costume contact lenses. It seems to be a popular feature nowadays. And so what many might not know is the harm that could be, that it's actually doing to their eyes and from wearing false lenses, right? We're referring to them as false lenses because, well, we have a doctor in the house who's going to explain the risk and the proper way to obtain cosmetic contact lenses. Please welcome Dr. Rhina Juthani from the Department of Ophthalmology and Vision at Montefiore Health System. So I was so caught up in making sure I got your first name right. I forgot to mention I forgot to ask the last name. Did I say that right?
Juthani.
Juthani.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Juthani.
Yeah, Juthani, you got it.
Yes, all right. Well, thank you for being here with us. And I think this is a really, really important topic because, well, you know, everybody's always out to bargain shop. And like I mentioned earlier, it's all about looking good. And I don't think people really realize that bargain shopping for your eyes is really not the way to go.
No, it's true. Like you said, cosmetic contact lenses are a fun way to spruce up your Halloween costume. But everybody should be aware that any contact lens that's not prescribed by an eye care professional is potentially harmful to the eyes.
And so, okay, just because everybody, of course, is out to just save money and it's a one-day affair, how dangerous is it for someone to take the risk? What are the risks? I'm a little tongue twisted from messing up your name. I'm going to get it back. I'm sorry, you know. How dangerous is that one day of just taking the risk?
Well, every year at Montefiore, we do see patients who come in with complications from wearing these lenses, even for one day.
Okay, so let's talk about all those risks because I would like people to understand why we're even discussing this topic.
So sometimes we see corneal abrasions, which are scratches on the cornea. And the cornea is the clear dome-like structure that's at the front of the eye. So those corneal abrasions can heal, but sometimes they come in with serious infections in the cornea called corneal ulcers. Those corneal ulcers can be very difficult to treat. They can cause permanent vision loss, and in the most radical of scenarios, they can even cause loss of the eye, even after wearing them for one day.
Just one day. That's a really high risk. That's a really high risk for just looking good, right? And so also one of the reasons that people even get the abrasion, right, is because the contact lenses aren't properly sized for their eyes, right? So let's talk about that.
Right, so the difference between a normal contact lens and a cosmetic contact lens, there are a few differences. One is that when you normally go to a doctor's office, they'll take specific measurements of your eye, and they'll choose a lens that particularly fits your eye. If they don't do those measurements, like in a cosmetic contact lens, those lenses are one size fits all. So if they're placed on your eye and they're too tight or too loose, those can cause complications. The other main difference is that the ones that you buy over the counter or online, they're not FDA approved. So there's no regulation about the materials that they're using for those contact lenses, and there's no guarantee of the sterility of the product. Those packages could be contaminated with bacteria or parasites, and those things can lead to infections in the eye, which again can be very devastating.
That's very serious because you don't know what it's stored in. That's a serious matter right there.
You don't know, and it doesn't say it anywhere, and there's no regulation on it. So
right, which means it hasn't been inspected, right? So let's talk a little bit about eye care and how important it is for people to just get their eyes checked out, right? Because I think we tend to take sight for granted if we have it and we don't have any complications. So how often should a person have their eye checked?
So anyone over the age of 40 or so should have their eyes checked once or twice, once every 1 or 2 years. And if you're over the age of 50, it should be every year. If you have any other medical conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, you should definitely have an exam once a year because those conditions can cause specific complications in the retina.
So, with regards to Halloween, and just because this is an opportunity for people to take their eyesight seriously, right? I mean, we're a little late in the game here, not necessarily, but however, because insurance covers eye care, right? Do you recommend that people go have their eyes checked before even obtaining these contact lenses?
So there
Even
are
though there's no prescription in them?
absolutely. So there are some cosmetic contact lenses that are FDA approved, but the only way to get them is with a prescription. So you have to go to an eye care professional, they'll give you a prescription, and then you can get a fun-looking contact lens. There is good regulation on those lenses, and they'll do the measurements of the eye to make sure that they fit properly. So I would definitely recommend, if you have a vision plan, definitely go in before Halloween to get the prescription and then get the appropriate lens.
So you're saying they're prescribed even if there's no prescription in the actual lens?
Absolutely. That's
Why
a
is
common
that?
misperception.
Yeah.
You know, even if they're not correcting your vision, the contact lens still has a significant effect. It's considered a medical device by the FDA. So, you know, anytime you put anything on the eye, it can have potential harmful effects. So it needs to fit properly. And the eye care professional will make sure that that lens is fitting properly. It has to move appropriately to make sure enough oxygen and enough tear flow is getting into the eye.
Right. I mean, this is so important, the technicalities of just a foreign object being put on your eye. And people are just like randomly putting whatever on their eyes just to look good.
No, it's true. It's true. You have to be very careful with the eyes. And the take-home point here is never put anything in the eye that's not prescribed.
Never put anything in the eye that's not prescribed. And the reasons are?
The reasons are anything that's not prescribed could potentially be harmful. It can cause potential infections, can compromise your vision, even in the long run.
And the idea, obviously, is prevention at all levels.
Absolutely.
And are there any last words you want to share with our viewers?
Well, have a safe and happy Halloween. No matter what you put in your eyes, you're going to look fantastic, but make sure it's something safe and something prescribed.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Dr.
having me.
Juthani.
You got it.
I did it. All right. Once again, you guys, for more information on the Department of Ophthalmology and Vision, visit montefiore.org/eyes. Okay, we are taking a quick break, but coming up, we're sitting down with children's book author Deborah Hunt. Don't go anywhere.